All right, what is up, everybody? Murray NJ08 is back with a new episode of Next Gen Console Countdown. We just got a whole mess of news from both sides. We just got a whole mess of news from PlayStation, actually today. Mark Cerny did a deep dive, they're calling it, press conference on all the technical jargon. And a couple days ago, Phil Spencer gave a lot of Microsoft Xbox Series X information out. So this is another one of those geeky specs video episodes. Now, there is still no pricing, and there is still no reveal of what the PlayStation 5 console looks like. Mark Cerny did a blog today, and a lot of people were really upset. Now, listen, guys. I watched the demonstration, the deep dive. I watched the press conference, and I was reading the stream chat on the PlayStation blog, and during the live feed, and I noticed people were not happy. They thought this was going to be a PlayStation press conference on the PlayStation 5. They thought it was going to be a reveal of the console. They thought it was going to be a pre-order event. They thought it was going to be a price indication. They thought that Microsoft was going to respond right away with a price. Everything was going to be revealed because, of everything going on with the coronavirus and E3 being canceled. That's not what this was. Got to remember, Sony wasn't going to do E3 anyway. Okay? They're going to drag this out in drips and drabs. Now, when they said that Mark Cerny, was going to cover this event, I already knew what this was going to be. This was going to be a nerdy geek fest for developers, okay? Not for consumers. I already knew. If you know who Mark Cerny is, okay, I studied this guy. I read his biography. I know all about him. I've watched his past conferences. I love Mark Cerny to death, okay? The guy got a lot of heat today. You obviously don't know who he is, okay? He's like watching a human computer talk, okay? The guy don't even speak English as far as understanding what he's saying, okay? He speaks so technical. Coming from a geeky nerd, I absolutely loved what he was saying. So yeah, I understand. It was a boring freaking conference with the coronavirus and everything. He was talking in front of like little silhouettes. It wasn't a live event. I get it. I 100% understand it was a snooze fest. I do. But I knew that going in. It was about specs, and it was really catered towards the developers watching this and the people that are going to be making games that you're going to be playing. It really wasn't for the consumer. Now, Microsoft, on the other hand, really did. They made it a little bit more lively. Phil Spencer kind of really, is a little bit more people-friendly, I think, than Mark Cerny as far as giving the information out. Plus, you already know what the console looks like as far as the Series X. So there's still a lot we're waiting for. We're waiting for prices on these things. We're waiting for pre-order dates. Now with the coronavirus, people are wondering if these consoles are even going to come out. I think they are. With prices. Let's get right into it, okay? The CPU is an x86 64 AMD Ryzen Zen 2, 8 cores, 16 threads. Now, I don't want to start reading this off like Mark Cerny, but basically, it's a very powerful system, but it's slightly right under the Xbox Series X. I'll get to that in a little bit, okay? So the Xbox Series X, my opinion, in this generation is going to have an edge on the PlayStation. Okay? At least until they have their, what do they call it? Their Next Gen Pro version down the line. Like the Series X had over the PS4 Pro. So we have the AMD. We have the ray tracing, which we all know about with both systems. Here's the big difference here. The GPU is running at a 10.3 teraflops. As you know, the Xbox is running at a 12 teraflops, but it is running at a GDDR6 16 gigabyte. And this is something to note. As you notice here, an 825 gigabyte solid state drive. Now, it is a 1 terabyte solid state drive. However, I guess after the operating system and the system resources, you're going to be left with 825 gigabyte storage. Thank God for expandable storage, because listen guys, even with these next gen systems in this day and age, and especially with the amount of games that I have and the amount of game sizes that these games are coming out with, and they just keep getting bigger, I can tell you this from experience, that is freaking nothing, okay? You could put a 2-3 terabyte hard drive on these suckers, and I'll fill that up in a freaking day. No doubt, no joke. 5.5 gigabyte real bandwidth RAW, Ultra HD Blu-ray, capable support 4K up to 8K on 8K TVs. And Mark Cerny was really getting into, at the end of this conference, or press, a blog, whatever you want to call it, Tempest 3D audio tech. They're really, really emphasizing on the audio of this thing, especially if you have a really, really high-end theater, surround sound, especially with the VR. They're really working with it with the VR headset. They're probably most likely going to be coming out with a VR 2 at some point. So they're really putting a freaking killer soundboard on this thing. There you go, as far as the PlayStation 5. Again, the storage space will be 1 terabyte. However, only 825 will be available for games. We talked about that. Talks about the RAM. There was something on this article I want to read. What was it? Oh, okay, I did. All right. Okay. I've been reading articles and watching videos like crazy. Here we go. Xbox time. Okay, so we got the Zen 2 cores at 3.8 gigahertz. All right, so here's the big difference. The 12 teraflops. Memory, 16 gigabyte GDDR6, so exactly the same. Storage, 1 terabyte. Now, I'm wondering if that's going to be the same as the PlayStation as far as what's available, the 825. I'm thinking it is. Now, something to note here. They are going to... So you're going to be obviously able to expand the storage by hooking up a USB, expandable USB storage device like you are now. But they're actually going to have an exactly 1 terabyte slot. So you could buy an actual expansion slot. Remember, we wanted to know what that port was on the Xbox when those dev kit pictures released on Twitter. I was one of the first few people to retweet that image. And people were saying, what the heck is that thing in the back of the Xbox Series X? That's exactly what that is. That's an expandable 1 terabyte expansion port. What they're going to cost, we don't know. So you actually have that, which will be internal, and then you do have still the external 1 terabyte expansion USB, like you do now. And I believe that's... Correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that's USB 2.0 still. It might not be 3.0, but I'll look that up. Optical drive, 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray, 120 frames per second support, potential 8K resolutions, ray tracing technology, same as the PlayStation 5, variable rate shading for more stable frame rates, which is going to be great for the 120 frames per second support, compatible with Xbox One accessories, and full compatible with Xbox One backwards compatibility. Okay? Pack and power, boy. Let me tell you, this sucker's bringing the heat. I mean, PlayStation 5, ain't bringing no knives to a gunfight, but let me tell you, the Xbox Series X ain't nothing to mess with. If it was a Wu-Tang song, it wouldn't be nothing to F with, if you get my jargon. So basically, people have been asking me, Sean, when it comes down to it, what's the Xbox Series X versus the PS5 if they were in a ring together? The Xbox Series X would come out on top, but it's mostly because of the teraflops, okay? Because the PS5 is coming in at 10.28 teraflops, 2.23 gigahertz, whereas the Xbox Series X is coming in at a whopping 12 teraflops. But from what I can see, it looks the same. Now, see, they're still saying that the internal solid state is custom on the PS5. Now, That's really something solid state, because that's gonna freaking rock. Okay, now back to the PlayStation 5. Yeah, both having high-speed solid-state drives, 8-core. Yeah, Microsoft has the edge over the Sony. Yep. But these are going to be both nothing to... No joke. No joke. Definitely no joke. Yeah, there's that storage slot. I was reading something about... Here we go. The quick version is that in terms of raw graphics power, the Xbox Series X has an edge over the PlayStation 5. If you only care about the teraflops number, which measures how many floating point operations per second a video card can perform, Microsoft is on the top. The Microsoft X has 12 teraflops, while the PlayStation 5 is pumping out a 10.28 teraflops. So there you go. So another thing I wanted to talk about with the Series X that I actually forgot was save states and resuming, auto-resuming, quick resuming. Man, I gotta tell you, as a gamer, this is groundbreaking. I seen this in action during a demo that Phil Spencer showed. They showed you switching between games and auto-resuming where you left off between like 4, 5, 6 games. Unfreaking real. I mean, I'm talking within seconds, like racing games and sports games, and switching back and forth. And they said not even like minutes, like days and hours, like hours and days, like no lie. It was a huge technical feat, I think, as far as hardware. Absolutely amazing. I mean, it's like something you would see on a really high-end PC, a gaming PC. When he was actually showing, going from like, you know, one game and then pausing it and then switching, multitasking to the next game in the list, playing that game, pausing it, going back to another game, resuming it, going back to another game, going where you left off. And it was like seamlessly switching, really, really, really showed the power. Like, you know, I could talk about specs all day. You could see specs on paper. When you see it in action, like I saw the demo of the quick resume, that's when I knew that these systems were serious. And I gotta tell you, even PlayStation people were coming up to me and saying, in the chat, saying, you know what, dude, this is impressive. I am impressed. So Xbox is going to be a freaking monster. Now, it leaves you with the question. These freaking systems are not going to be cheap. It also leaves you with the question, are these systems going to be priced at different points? Meaning, is there going to be a core system and a pro version? What were they calling it? The Lockhart version. You know what? I honestly think it's easier just to release the pro version. I really do. I mean, I've never went with the lower versions. Like when I got the Xbox, when I got the Wii U, they had the white one and the black one. That's just me. That does help people that are on a budget and that would like to save a little more. But what happens is, in my mind, is down the line you're thinking, man, I'd rather wish I went with the more powerful one, because you want these freaking systems to last as long as you can. I mean, I think even on the lower end, these systems, no matter what, are going to be freaking powerful. But I would just go with as much as you could go with and spend the bucks when you can and have these systems last for a long time. Even like with these mid-generation upgrades, just come out and have this freaking thing powerful. Spend the money in the beginning, and I think it'll be worth it in the end. Thank you, guys. I have a lot coming to the channel. I'm on a brand new microphone. I'm on a brand new setup, brand new laptop, brand new direct capture now, Let's Plays, broadcasting. I got a freaking sick setup. I'm going to be pumping videos out like no tomorrow. We're going to be covering all this stuff for you. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for coming to the channel today. I will keep you up to date as this news comes in, and I will be seeing you on the next episode of Next Gen Countdown. Take care.